Okay, so we're getting ready now to fit the primary chain assembly into the primary chain case. And what we're going to do is we're going to fit a primary chain conversion, because the original T160s have a bespoke chain made by Reynolds. When I say bespoke, it's a one-off chain, only ever made for the T160 primary chain. It's duplex, so that means it's double row. Sorry, just recovering from a bit of lurgy. Now the problem is that this chain is completely unobtainable. No one, you can't get it anywhere. And because of that, and because this one is slightly worn, though not very worn, we're going to be fitting a triplex conversion. So this is triplex. So as you can see, that's a 3-row chain as compared to the original 2 double-row chain. Now the thing about the triple chain is this was what was fitted to the T150s, and it is still available. Okay. Now I think that what happened was with the T160s, because they've got the gear change in the primary chain case, they decided that it was too tight to fit the original triplex chain, so they fitted the duplex chain instead to give it a bit more room. The thing is, you can actually fit the gear change past the triplex chain, so we can actually revert, if you like, upgrade by going backwards to a triplex chain. The advantage simply being that these are available, so that once you've changed the sprockets back to 3-row sprockets as opposed to 2-row, then you can always just change that primary chain whenever you want. So we'll be getting rid of the front engine sprocket and replacing it with a new triple row, and we're replacing the sprocket on the back of the shock absorber unit again with a triple row. And then I'll probably advise the owner, this chain is worn, but it's not massively worn, so then you can either keep it or you might want to sell it probably on eBay as a good worn original chain, because that's the only option for people that haven't done the conversion, and their chain's worn out. Then if they want a chain, you can't buy them new, so you can buy this as a good spare, good second-hand replacement. It's probably got a good few thousand miles left in that yet. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is, this is actually the shock absorber unit. So this unit is full of small rubbers which absorb the shock. When you accelerate, the engine snaps open, and there's all rubbers in here that just absorb the shock of that sudden acceleration and stop things from snapping. Without an engine shock absorber, you can snap the main shaft on the gearbox and snap chains and so on. So on a T160, just so you're aware, that the assembly is back to front with a T150. These bolts sort of face the back of the primary chain case on our case, on the T160. I think on a T150, the whole assembly is backwards, and so these bolts and that actually face outwards. But again, I think to make more room, they turned the whole thing around and fitted it inwards. But just mentioning that in case you've got a T150 and are a bit confused. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do now is open up these tabs, these lock tabs, and take out these high tensile bolts, and that will allow us to take this cover plate off, and then we can see the state of the rubbers in the shock absorber unit underneath and see if they need replacing. Okay, so that's the first thing we're going to do. I'll put all the other stuff out of the way, and then we'll have a look at taking the shock absorber unit apart. Right, a couple of things before we carry on that I forgot to mention. So the triplex conversion, I think, is made by a company in Australia. But in the UK, this is available from Clive Scarf Systems, I think is his website, Clive Scarf Systems, and he makes lots of good upgrades, mainly stainless steel upgrades and so on for Tridents. So it's always worth looking on his website, see all the stuff he's got there. And so this is the kit, which comes two sprockets in the chain, but it also comes, this is the cross shaft that goes from the gearbox all the way across the engine. This is the foot, as it's called, it's in the primary chain case that allows us to change gear. And it does come with a new spacer. See the spacer here? Okay, so there's a very slightly longer spacer that we will change. So the kit comes with that, because the foot needs to be out just a little bit further, I think, to clear, because this is, the foot is on, like, runs on the outside of the chain case, just about there. So we need to move it out just a little bit, because obviously this will be a bit thicker because we're running with the triplex chain. So it comes, we'll be covering this later on, but I just wanted to mention it. Okay.